This is it.
Oh yeah, this is it. We're our four and our four.
Oh, because they're splitting us up?
I'm math.
And then there's your
Science.
And she's math.
I used to be mad.
Okay, so you're both. You're a hybrid. All right.
No, she's hybrid ISS.
Oh, you're
Ah,
She does it
well,
all.
you know, Canvas is actually would be very beneficial, and I think our ISS people enjoy it too because the students have already know ahead of time what their assignments are because they get the notifications. So what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about Canvas, which is our learning management system. We call it our LMS, and it's basically where we just house everything that we do. We'll show you all sorts of stuff. So, do you want to start again, or do you want me to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
I'll start. So last year, we had our crazy push with the one-on-one, and that's where Canvas came from. And as a building, we were told do one class on Canvas, just get comfortable with it, make it, something that's going to have a lot of impact, but just one class is fine. And I was one of those, well, if I'm going to do it, I might as well just do it. So I did all of my classes on it, and then I was shooting myself in the foot, miserable that I did it, but now it's done. So that's pretty great. Our math department was a little bit different because they used an online program. They really didn't use Canvas at all last year. That they just used their online program, took those scores, and put them into our SIS. So the math is starting.
We're catching up. We're getting there.
Newly get into Canvas and use it. So that's kind of where we are in terms of the usage of Canvas right now.
Yes.
Okay. We use it differently. We definitely use it differently. So I'm going to show you my physical science class. I'm a very linear thinker. So I have everything set up in modules so that our first unit is in a module, and within the module is all the different lessons that we do, and the assignments are attached to it. So you'll see that when I pop this bad boy open. So when you get in, it takes you to this home screen. I like it has this to-do feature and coming up feature, and it looks the same for students, although their stuff is a little bit different. But based on due dates, it tells me what I have to do as the teacher, so I still need to grade these assignments. And these are things that I have coming up in the future that kids are going to do. Conversations, so students that have emailed me, assignment notifications, any changes that I've made, it's all on one opening screen, and we can see that easily. So this is my Canvas and what it looks like. So each of these are called a module, so it's my unit. So this is what we're working on right now, and you can tell that I've got it, a lesson written down, and each day is kind of a lesson usually. And then within here, I even have it very linear. They still don't get it, but that's okay. So I have the objectives and the daily question, and then what we do each day. I like that I can add like a YouTube video. I can embed directly into it, so they can watch it right here, or I can put the link to the YouTube from there. I have a YouTube app, so I can search in here if I want to do. I can search for a video and I can hit embed, and it'll pop it directly into there. I have some other tools that I use. I can link, this is a link to the assignment that's also designed and built in Canvas. So as kids are on this page, they can say, hey, this is where I'm turning in this assignment, and it'll pop up right there. And then kids, where it says speed grader for me, it says submit, so they can click there and they can upload the file.
Now, does it grade it for you?
It depends on what it is. A regular assignment, no. I have to go in and I can grade it. I can,
Essay type stuff, no. Or short answer or something like that where you have them type in. But if you did matching, or if you wanted to put the number in there, you can give them some flexibility as to the range of the number. You could, might not be the easiest way, because the typing is always the issue with math. So you gotta be careful with them.
And we did find that
Vocabulary and stuff like that.
if you want them to grade a fill in the blank and the kids don't write it exactly like you do, Canvas will count it wrong. You can put in several options that I'll take this misspelling and this misspelling and a capital here and a space here. that it's hard to think of all of the options of what they might do wrong. So
Do you do like where your kids come in with something like a device and they pull up all this, or you pull this up in front of them?
I actually do both. We have one-to-one, so all of our students have a laptop, but I will pull up, like I'll open the lesson and I'll zoom in on the daily question and have it posted, and I have my kids answer the daily question on paper. And then we kind of talk about what's going on the day. They pop up
So
on their
they're all still
computers,
going
and
at the
they
same rate. Okay.
I have another class that we're trying a layered curriculum, and that all of the assignments are posted. Kids come in, they click on what they need to work on, and it's all go at your own pace. I'm not in control of that at all.
Are you liking that?
Yes and no. The control freak teacher in me is like, I can't do this. It has pros and cons.
Yeah.
We've done 2 units of it, so I don't know how much.
And everyone takes a test at the same time.
Everyone takes a test.
You
at the same
can
time.
set up that they have to do certain things in campus before you can allow that test to be open, so that you could set it as a prerequisite, basically that you have to do these 5 lessons, and then the test will open up to go be able to do
But
that.
then they could open a test up at home? No.
No.
You can set a time frame.
Oh, okay.
So I can type in, I can make a module. I can lock the module until
Okay.
a certain date, so they can't even open the module. I can move through the requirements in sequential order, so they have to do this before they can do this before they can do
So
this.
do you encourage them to move at a more rapid pace, or?
In this class, no. In the one I'm showing you, I don't. In the layered curriculum, yeah, some kids that are more accelerated
They
than.
get done really, really early.
Well, the higher assignments are more complicated and require much more thinking and much more effort from them. So it takes about the same time.
So you have to have it set up where, like, if the smarter kids that they got through more of the stuff, you got to have some extra stuff that they can
So
get.
like if they get through this much material, it's a C. If they get through all this material, it's a B.
Yep.
So it's like a contract situation with a computer involved.
So what you do with a very really diverse classroom is some of the smarter kids are gonna do more work for the same grade?
No.
No. So the way we've got it set up is we take a pretest, and based on their score on the pretest, we put them into layers. And so the students that have some of that base content knowledge, they get to start in a higher layer. And the layer is just, it's a difference between a DOK 1 and 2 and a DOK 3
How long
and
does
4.
it take for kids to learn that?
Well, like I
You
said,
know,
we're in our second unit,
I
so
know,
we're
but-
still processing all of
But I
this.
mean, if
So you think they're
go-
playing the system?
Yeah, playing the system.
If they do the
Oh, it's definitely, yeah. I mean, students have said if I do bad on the pretest, then I get to start with some of this easier stuff. But then their grade's not as high either, because they have to get through a certain amount of content to get a certain grade point value.
So if you start at a higher one, you have a better chance of getting an
That's
A.
correct.
So if
And you
they're
can spend
a
more time on
student-
that too.
Right. And it's a bigger project, so they spend more time on it.
Science. I don't know if it'll work as
Yeah.
well as math.
Yeah.
You know. I
Yeah.
get what you're saying.
Yeah, that is different.
It is, yes. Yeah, I'm science, so. So mine's very linear. A couple features that I really like. The announcements. Josh will talk about this a little bit. I haven't used it quite as much as I did before, but I used to send out my daily agenda in the announcement, and it goes to the students and their parents. So if a kid, and it goes like to their email, and they get a little notification that says, hey, somebody emailed you. So kids that are absent or in ISS, or really behind, and their parents want to know that they know what's going on even before they come to class. That I can have that sent out at 8 o'clock in the morning to all of my students, and they all know before coming in what's going on.
I will tell you too, kids and parents and teachers can go in and change their notification preferences. So they can set it up to where it will email through Canvas, it will do that by default. But they can also add another email address. So like me, I might add like my @STJ Schools account, and it will send to there. I can put a phone number and it'll text me if the test date changes. They can go in and modify how their notifications are, as well as parents can do that too.
In Canvas.
Yeah, so this is the notification preference. So you can choose immediate, daily, weekly, or no notifications at all. And then it has for all of these different things.
Any of those things that we would change, then they would get notified.
Right, so anytime I change it, it notifies it. One thing that we've done, there's discussions.
I want
so
to say
it's,
something to that real
Oh.
quick. Sorry, Mrs.
go
Clark.
for it.
I didn't know exactly what you
There's a school in Illinois, and they had a snow day, and they called it a digital learning day.
Well, no, I was just saying
And they didn't have to make it up. Isn't that awesome?
that is awesome, but what I'm
No.
saying is they come back and they go, oh, I thought it was gonna be a gold day. So at least we could say,
No,
hey,
we
you
still
have
have
me.
Yeah, we still have.
Yeah.
with the announcements?
Oh yeah.
Well,
And
the
we're on
announcements
class
are class specific, so they're not necessarily like. I mean, I guess there is
You
probably
can
a
set up,
school.
your secretary can set up global announcements that will go out, 9 through 12.
But if I knew I had a test on the day before a snow day and there was a snow day that day, I could send out an announcement going, oh, your test is next time we come to school. Or something like that, and then they can't
Yep.
say, oh, well, I thought because we had a snow day.
Well, then they'll say, "Well, I didn't check my email."
Well, too bad.
Oh yeah, that's what
Exactly.
they'll say.
I mean, they'll have excuses.
We
It's
know.
just
Oh,
like,
I'm
yeah.
sure they will.
Yeah.
So this is a discussion feature that we've used. So it's kind of like a blog. I can post something and they can respond to it. I can set up settings so that a student has to post before they can read everybody else's. They can reply to each person's. I have the ability to edit a student's, so I can delete something that he's written if I don't feel like it's just a small part of it. I can delete his discussion entirely if I need to. So I can't stop a student from posting to it, but I can't edit once they've done that.
And Mrs. Barr can also set up time parameters for those discussions. So if she's using it as like an entrance ticket or a bell work, she can just give it 5 minutes, so the student has to come in and do it and get started.
If you have someone that takes advantage of it, can you have those where I have to pre-approve that person posting?
I don't
Like
think
you
I
have
have to.
You have to read it, and then you can allow
And then
it to
I
be
can
submitted.
allow it?
I don't know if I have that.
We have really good
I-
kids.
yeah.
Well,
We
sure
have
they
the
do,
same
but I'm
kids
just-
you do.
I don't know if you would want to do that, to be quite honest. If you're just
Well,
wanting them
the
to discuss
timeline,
something,
yeah.
then just let them post, and you can go back and
But
like,
I mean,
hey,
if you knew
so and
you
so
had a-
posted this,
Okay,
and you might want to watch his particularly or hers,
right.
But I don't know if you want to say, okay, well, I'm gonna have to approve every single one. of
Not
these.
everyone, I meant if you had someone that abused it.
Because it puts your name, it puts their name to it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's attached to their
honestly-
account.
And they know that,
So the pages, that's where I do all of my lessons, but it turns it into wiki pages, so then it's all into there. Does that. Files is an option where you can, any file that you'd want the students to access, I can put in here, or I can hide it from the students and they can't access it. So in my my biology class that we're doing later curriculum, we have all of the notes posted in the file section, so they can come in and if they're wanting to take notes, they can sit and listen to me, or they can read the notes on their own. They can kind of go at their own pace that way. But all the files are available to them, so they don't have to be dependent upon me to get that information. I can post a syllabus.
If you set up like modules and stuff, and you have like prerequisites where they have to do certain things to get to the next module.
I can, and that's I can lock each module until a certain date. Right now, what I have working
But
is
like
kind
if
of,
individual students, like say they get through, one student gets through module 1, can they move on to module 2 before?
it's a whole
Okay.
class.
They can't do it individually, like work through it like that. Okay.
But it works individually throughout the assignment. So I can say, like in the module, they have to work sequentially. So if I finish assignment 1, I can move on to assignment 2, even though he might still be on assignment 1.
Oh, okay. So like you can just open up the entire thing and allow them to work through them
Yeah.
individually that way. Okay.
I want to.
Go.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
The syllabus itself, you can put your basic information there, but it's going to build, depending on whatever assignments and quizzes that you put in, it will add to your syllabus. Does that make sense? So like throughout the semester, when you add something, it will add it to your syllabus.
So it's just not, it's
Oh.
not like a typed up syllabus that you do.
Well, this
Well,
top part
the
is a
top
top
part is,
syllabus.
but then at the bottom, it's gonna add every assignment that you
Oh,
do
okay.
or quiz.
Oh, wow.
Because I have like 80 assignments in there.
I didn't know that, so I saw that.
I didn't know that.
Um,
I've learned 3 things.
one thing about Canvas that a lot of other things don't have is that it has the quiz feature. So I can develop quizzes in Canvas, multiple choice, fill in the blank. It grades it for me. Short answer essay, I have to grade it myself, but it's all in there. My mom came and visited a couple weeks ago, and I was grading all my students' tests on the computer, and she was just flabbergasted that, you know, like, where's your stack of stuff, and why isn't it right there with you? What do you mean
And
you're
when
reading
she
it on your
says-
computer?
Yeah, and when she says grade on the computer, if it's like a multiple choice or true or false, the program grades it for you. You know, you only have to grade like what they keyed in
Right.
or something like that.
And you got a rubric with that.
I did. So what about assignment? I have a project that I created and had a rubric go with it. And the rubric itself pops up when I'm grading the assignment. So here's the rubric. I can look at the individual students as well. And I can view the rubric and I can key in right there what I want, you know, click, click, click. I can add comments in here, so when they look at the rubric, it has their comments for each individual part, or I can add a comment at the bottom for the whole assignment too. So you have some options there. You can do a
Parents
video.
will see the comments too. The kids will see the comments. Parents can see the comments. Comments. It's very transparent. as far as-
When I add a comment, okay, I'm just gonna say hi. It pops up to this discussion. So now there's a record of when I made my comment, if a student comments back when they made their comment. So I can, you know, no, I did. I told you at 2:24 on Monday that this is what was going on.
Tracy, has anybody submitted anything in a PDF that you can show?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I gotta remember which.
Do the parents seem to like using that, or?
It's. I'd like to answer that.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
The
I'm like.
answer is.
David. So yes and no. Also, just like anything, there's a learning curve. So our parents were very familiar with Parent Portal and SIS, but we feel like that's very passive. This is what their grade was on this, and that all you get is what the grade was. You don't really get
Right.
like what they did and how they did.
Or the
And
comments?
it's a very generic comment if there is a comment. So as a parent, now they can go in and see what the child actually submitted and say, you know, this. Your teacher was right. She may have not said it, but this is crap work, or you
Yeah.
know, whatever. The teacher, you know, obviously they're not going to say that, but
So they can see their actual assignments that they submitted, and you don't have to keep a
Yes.
stack of papers
the
for.
parent has the same view that the student does, except it's just a view only. So they
Gotcha.
see exactly what
So
the
the
kid
parents
sees.
can't comment on it, but like, this grade is bull.
Yeah.
But they can put a comment in the grade book.
What the heck are you
Yeah.
doing to me? Yeah.
I've
Oh,
learned
well.
things today.
Yeah.
I know, right?
So this is an assignment that a student submitted in a PDF, and it opens up in Crocodile for us. So I can grade directly on this assignment. I can add a comment, so I can point to a specific area and type in a comment if I want. You know, the area comment, text comment. I can draw, so if I want to draw on that and say, hey, what's going on, and then I can do text and say, what's going on with that. I can strike through things, highlight certain things. And then I just discovered that I can go back through and right click and I can remove it also. So, because I played on that
I did
earlier.
not know that.
Yeah, see?
She's
Like when you're doing assignments like this and you put them on there, is there a lot of like adjusting your assignments to put them on here? Like, do you find that?
No, so
Okay.
this was just a Google document. So I just typed it into Google Docs. I put the link onto my Canvas page. The kids opened the link, made a copy, and then they submitted their answers through here.
Or was your question, is she doing things differently because we have this technology now?
Right, like say I have an assignment that I've saved on, as a Word
You've done it
document.
for several years as a Word document.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just can upload those types of things and they can go on, and you just put like you just
Now,
put a
it
place for
might
them to
not-
put your answers or something, for them to put their answers.
Now, it might not be as effective to do it that way now. You might want to go into your assignments and creating assignments where it asks those questions and they put in their answers, and then it'll kind of either automatically grade it for you, or you can do the essay and grade it yourself. So there's some efficiency.
It just depends on what you want your kids to get out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it looks a little different depending on what you want. But yes, to answer your question, you can. It'll accept lots of file types.
Okay.
So I just link a lot of file types, and I can upload a file right on there, and they can download it and write on it and re-upload it if they want.
Okay.
We did a quiz that one of our test questions, the students had to draw a graph, and then they took a picture of the graph on their computer and uploaded that file into the computer. So I didn't have to keep track of anything separate, but they could still do the graph and do it that way.
Okay.
Once it's submitted and graded, will it always be on there? Or, can the student take it out, or can you know what I mean?
Once they submit it, there's a record of it being there. So they can't unsubmit. To the
They
best of
can
my
So, like, if they type a
resubmit
paper-
if they do it better,
Okay.
when they want.
So at the end of the year, can you delete the software? Do they have access for it forever and they can print it for the next group of students?
Our semester closes. So like my Canvas course that I have right now closes at the end of the semester, and nobody's enrolled in it anymore except me as the teacher. So the students get removed from that class, and
So they can't get their
they
old
don't have
documents and
access.
hand it down for prosperity?
Well, here's
depends on how they do
I mean,
it.
if they
Even
save
if
it.
it's, let's say,
They
not
have to-
that I did this,
You know,
but
Worksheet. I
I
can
did
keep
a
a
paper in
file.
high school
Yeah, I change them
that,
every year.
that my cousin may have also used in high school. It's the same thing. It's just different because it's electronic.
Yeah.
Kids are still going to do it. If they did it before, they're going to find a way to do it electronically.
There might have been an
And
organic
we-
chemistry file in college that the whole sorority used. There might have been.
And it's, cheating is gonna happen. You have
Yeah,
to find
I
a way
was
to
just
stop it.
wondering.
Because we found a kid looked up our curriculum online, because our curriculum, we took the New York Engage online, completely online, they found it. And so, but we could tell, we haven't even discussed that. They're using proofs, they're using stuff in proofs that we haven't even discussed, and we're like, this doesn't seem right, so. It's out there, they're gonna find it. Or there's, they got their questions online, but then there's Mathway to answer their question. They can just type the answer in there. There's an app out on the iPhone. You can take a picture of an equation and it will solve it for you.
It's 10 years too
I
late.
know, right? So,
Sorry,
I mean,
managers.
exactly. So you have to do your diligence and monitoring what they're doing, what they're submitting, checking is that exactly what to do, or showing your work. That's always a good thing, but that program shows other works for it too. So it's gonna be out there. You just have to be diligent and be on top of it too. I've learned more from cheating from the kids than I ever did in high school.
Do you upload your grades, like, with this program, or do you have, like, SIS or something
Yes.
like that? Do you,
All of our grades go into Canvas, and then at Progress, we submit the letter grade into SIS, so we can run various reports that we don't get with Canvas. We're trying to remedy that.
So they don't make you put all your grades in SIS
Right.
individually. That's
Just
good.
take the letter grade.
Yeah.
And that
So
was
we
what
just
we
have
had fought.
one score at the end.
Let me transition that into math, because that's why we didn't do it last year. We had used our own math program called MathXL, and we were supposed to take our grades from MathXL, put them into Canvas, and then take the Canvas grades and put them into SIS, and we were not going to do it. And so we just said, okay, well, we'll just go straight to SIS. And we didn't do anything with Canvas. I maybe put some announcements, some videos on there that I'll show you, but I didn't want to do that double entry. Now they're just doing letter grades. That's great. I didn't want to have to do each individual assignment,
Yeah.
because we have a lot of math. So I'm kind of just going to talk about the grade book.
Because that's all you use.
No, I don't use it only just for that, but I do use it as one of the primary ones that I do use it for. So actually right now in my Algebra 1, what I use it for is gradebook, I do announcements, and then my sub-plans. I'm not there today. Right now my Algebra 1 is in class. And so what I did right before we left was I made a little video. And it's just me doing...
Systems of equations?
Yeah.
We're on that too.
Yeah, I know, I saw that. I was like, so we're doing substitution method. I knew I wasn't going to be there, but now I have I've created this video. They now have it as a resource that they can use it. Thankfully, the sound's not on, but
Yeah, I don't have.
I worked 2 problems. This is same 2 exact problems that I did for my second hour class today, that before I turned them loose on their homework. And so that's the exact same notes I gave them.
Document cam.
Yeah, and it's an IPVO camera, and then the Screencast-O-Matic in the bottom left-hand corner is a shameless plug. But that's what I did for my notes today. And so their assignment, I made the announcements that they know that if I'm not there, they go check Canvas. There's the announcement there, there's the video there, and at the end of it I tell them their IXL assignment, which is U8 or whatever it was. And so then they can get started on that. So I don't have to worry about it. Yeah. So I was recording and SIS is like, hey, you're
Yeah.
coming out. Oh, yeah, crap. So I had to pause it and then do that. Anyway, that's what I get for making it right before I leave, right? So they watch that video and then they go through there. I'm not nearly as organized as she is, and granted she's got a year on me because she got to do all this stuff last year when I didn't do it.
How you phrase that? She got to do.
She got to.
Yeah, she got it.
I let her work out the bugs. But so gradebook primarily for me. We do the assignment. We use an online program called IXL, and I'll show you that when we talk about our text tools. But this is my gradebook, and so then I just say IXL assignment Z12, Z7, or something like that. And so I'll put in the assignment out of 10 points, and then I can just go in and type in their grades. So all of my grades are manually submitted. Hers was color-coded because it was submitted later, submitted on time, or it was resubmitted because there were some edits that they needed to do. And so mine looks different than hers because I use it differently than she does.
Are those just features that you can turn on, like if it's
They're-
on time or something like
They're
that?
automatically there. So if I set a due date and the kids turn it in before the due date, it's white. If they turn it in after the due date, it's red. If I grade it and then they turn it in, then it turns up orange. It says, hey, you need to go back and regrade it.
Part of that's the submission.
How does that affect their grades in your class? Like if they do it late?
I would have to manually adjust the point value. So we do, yeah, we have a building labor policy that's 30% off. So if it's a 10-point assignment, if it turns it in late, it's bright red, so I know they get max 7 out of 10.
Makes it easy.
But now yours doesn't do that.
That's me.
But you could do
I could. I'm struggling right now. Because of what we're doing. Now next year, if we continue to go with IXL, we're going to figure out a way to get that to be transferred over. So I don't have to deal with that as much. But we want to make sure we want to use IXL. Still kind of on the borderline with that. Maybe not. But we'll have to see with that.
Do
So
they screenshot their score?
what? I have had them do that before, and that was even worse. When I was first playing around with IXL, I said, screenshot me your score, and then email it to me, and then that's what I'll put in the gradebook. Well, there's 50 emails right there.
Or you could have them
You know.
submit it through an assignment, and it would show up late or on time, or.
That's true too.
I want to speak to something before you go on, and you may have mentioned this about the things that are grayed out on the left-hand side. Were you guys able to show student view last time?
No.
Okay, so these right here, these settings on this side, the ones that are dark are the ones that the students see when they open their Canvas. So teachers customize this. There's a lot of different ways in Canvas to do the same thing. So a lot of our teachers have customized this where the only things there are like modules and grades. So when the student logs in, they still see everything under modules because that's where the teacher puts everything, but they don't have all these clicking options, you know, and they can get to where they're going.
So if you don't
easier.
use it as a teacher, it won't show up for them.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, you have to turn it off, but yeah. And so part of her grading thing was the submission type. So when I go make an assignment and I edit it, the submitting type is over here. So mine is no submission because I'm doing it. You can do it online, on paper, or an external tool. So how you submit it will also determine how
Go
you.
over click on online. So if you go to file uploads, when I check that, if I do a Google document, I have the kids make a copy of it. Their Google is connected to our Canvas, so then they can open that up and look directly in their Google accounts and choose the assignment and submit it that way.
You can't upload your IXL stuff. So that's why
that-
you don't have.
What's that external?
We haven't figured out yet. No, we might be checking this out later.
What?
So we might be checking this out. I don't know. We're still trying to figure it out. So
Is IXL, is that just a math?
It's a math program, yeah. And actually I have some ELA stuff in there too, but, so then I just set the due date, I can set a time, I can change the time, I can change the date, I can see when it's open, how long it's open. What I also like about this is say I have one section that's farther ahead of the other one, I can just submit it for that one section, or I can submit it for the other, or I can submit it for everybody. And so that's really nice about the gradebook. Also with the gradebook, I can sort by assignments a little easier than we could in Canvas, or SIS. And so I can sort by point totals, so I see here that, there's the high scores, there are my low ones. I've got several people who didn't do that assignment, so I know that, those are going to be my lower grades and stuff. I can do that on point total as well. I got my totals over there, so I can see based off tests, my lower tests. I can see, I've done this a couple times where I'm like, hey, most of you guys are failing this class, and most of it's because of your test, so I can sort about your test and go through there. But you can also, what Tracy learned today was that you can sort by last name.
Yeah. Oh, one kid at a time.
Pull up one kid at a time, so I can, if I want to discuss their grades with them, because we have that feature, we have the, you guys are making me mess up. If I want to have a parent-teacher conference for one, I can pull that up and I can just see theirs. They don't have to see everyone else's. Or if I'm talking individually with that student, I can just pull them over and say, hey, what's up with these SIS? Yeah, I don't think SIS can.
No.
Click on the student's name
You
too.
can go into one student's gradebook in SIS.
Not like that.
Not that easy.
So you can look at it like this too. So I
But
can
it's
click
not-
on an
but it's
individual
not.
student and it lists them out
This
and
is
says what their
like
score is. So it gives you an idea.
Interactive.
Not that easy, you can, is what you're saying.
SIS, you just get a printout. It's easier just to print the sucker out.
I click on the gradebook at the top.
Yeah, you can do your progress in SIS, but
And you just click.
This is-
But you can't do this, where you can have it interactive.
So we think too, like for our
Yeah.
paras and our sped teachers, I don't know, is anybody in here on that boat? No. Well, anyway, for them, we feel like it's been a learning curve because they're so used to SIS and student access and SIS. But they can go in and see the actual assignment and sit and work with the child, and go through it, and they're kind of learning it too with them, and we just feel like it's real. And as far as the grade is concerned, we've just recently went through like this SIS argument and about having to even put in progress grades, but we feel like it's so passive and it's just a grade, and what does that grade even mean? Is it because they didn't do the work, or is it because they've done poorly on their tests? And Canvas shows exactly what it means, so.
So can I ask?
So
you
why
do
are your
both?
school,
Yeah, why do you do SIS?
That
you
is
just
a
do
student's
Canvas?
question. We don't wear suits, we don't make those decisions.
So the
We
students
have
like
opinions.
SIS and everyone else.
Well, there's some reporting that is done
Makes
on
it
the
easier.
administrative side through SIS,
Mhm.
and Canvas isn't a student information product. It is an LMS. It's supposed to make the
it's a
learning
management system. Make us
and that
able to
piece
organize
happen.
everything
So
together a lot
So
easier.
you still have to take a role in SIS and
Yep.
stuff.
yes,
We take
we
roll in
do.
SIS, we report progress in SIS, and then we do everything else in Canvas.
alright,
Was it a hard sell to get the suits to allow you to only put in one grade?
No, it was.
Can't you
Actually,
say
I had it sold at the beginning of the year, and then we backtracked for some reason. That was kind of my job. So at the beginning of the year, we weren't going to use SIS at all for grades, and then they decided that like first quarter that we had to put in, that grade. So
Well,
it is what it is.
there's a lot of good reports that we get from SIS.
Right.
To see that, okay, well, he's failing this class, but if I look at all of his classes, he's got 7 of his 10 Fs. And that makes a big
you
difference.
can't do it
And
on
you can't do that. I can't see his other classes in SIS. So
you were saying,
or not SIS, I'm sorry, Canvas.
But there are.
you were saying, with the
Admin.
sped teachers though, can they go in and see your
Yeah.
class?
It
Like, they
depends
can-
on how your account's set up. So you can have, there are a couple different account types that we have in Canvas. So like our counselors and our SPED, and then we have like a counselor support guide, and I don't know, a couple of those types of positions are in a group in Canvas.
They can view
and they
everything.
have different rights than
Okay.
teachers do, and then administrators even
And
have
I-
different rights than
And
they
I have
do.
a co-teacher for
Yeah.
my Algebra 2 class, and so I've allowed her to be a teacher too, so she can put in assignments. She doesn't ever do it, but I put in the assignments, and she can go check stuff on.
Like if we had
Canvas.
class within a class type stuff,
Yeah.
we can have them edit on there. Okay.
And that depends on your comfortability with the teacher too. So
Right.
That might not always be the best case scenario.
Yeah.
Since we're on sped lines, like modifications for tests and quizzes, I can make a quiz and then I can pull questions in or pull questions out and make a modified quiz that's similar. And I can edit, you know, if I want to take away a multiple choice option, I can do that. So I can kind of make a test and then select what I want and make a second test. And it's still all online, so those kids
And you
just
can
go in
just
and they
assign those to the certain kids.
So what I've always done is just kind of nonchalantly, you know, said, you guys are taking test A, and you guys are taking test B, and you guys are taking test C, and nobody really knows what that means.
Yeah.
So,
Just tell them so they don't all have the same
Right.
test. Yeah.
right, that everybody has to
You
know.
know, it's the same.
And
Even though it
sometimes
is
our
the same
sped
sometimes.
teachers will pull kids out,
Yeah.
and so that, you know, that's not awkward, because she knows we're just gonna take test C.
Yeah.
That's the one you go to.
Okay.
For my purposes, I don't do any testing in Canvas, but what I know one thing you can do is that you can randomize the questions and you can randomize the choices. So even if you are putting them in pods and they can see right there, unless they're physically watching every single question being answered, they're not going to remember it. So I really like that. For what we do, we actually use Linkit, which is another program that's associated with it. And that's where we do our testing. It's got a lot of cool features. Okay.
It's associated with Canvas.
No, it's,
Or the IXL, okay.
It's an assessment product, that's all it is. It's an assessment product, and we use it for benchmarking. And then our math people have really just dove right in. This is the first year that we're using Linkit, but our math people have dove right in, and they're doing all their assessments in it.
Yeah.
The data you get from it is pretty phenomenal.
So what we do is we switched to New York Engage Common Core this year, and we take the standards that they say have aligned to their mid-module test, and we go and find the questions and Linkit, and then we can build a test based off those same
So
standards.
Linkit has an item bank of questions, and they're already aligned with the Missouri Learning Standards or Common Core, and so they can search based on
Am I allowed
what
to say something?
well, Missouri Learning
Anyway.
Standards.
So that's where we do all of our testing. So really, primarily for me, mine's just a homework grade book and subplans and that kind of thing. So I just wanted to show the math people the IXL. So we'll do a lesson. So I assign them, you know, at U8 today. So in Algebra 1, you can separate it by course. And again, this is another product on top of what we already have. So it is purchasable. You can do trials, so you can get 20 questions every day for free, and that you can use just as practice and skills, but they get better as they get farther into it. So you can switch browsers and you can still get another 20 when it starts you over. So they had to go through, actually if I log in, I got some cool reporting with that.
You get all your teachers use Canvas?
Yes.
That's cool.
Our middle school just started it also.
Do you guys know what it costs to?
This IXL does it
No.
right, figure out where,
Yeah, Victoria would know how much it costs.
Okay.
Say that again.
like, does it start on that one place and then depending on how they answer, does, link it there?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you guys tried any other things besides Canvas, like that you? Didn't like,
I did Moodle for a little bit before it was, you know, school district wide. Did that. We did the eMINS program, and through that we started Moodle. I've used Blackboard as a college student before, but not as a teacher. But we don't have any other like school-wide program that we've used before besides Canvas. How does Moodle compare with this? There's no assessment piece, which is nice to be able to have those quizzes and they can take them directly in there and have that score.
in Moodle?
In Moodle.
They do now.
Oh, do they now?
When I worked with Moodle, I did not find it as user-friendly as this.
Yeah, that's one thing. Whenever I've tried to use it, it seems more overly complicated than it needs to be. with
I
stuff,
forgot.
but-
I was trying to log in and I couldn't remember the URL, but in my announcements, I had a link that said when we first signed up for it. I remembered I had placed that link on there, so there's the link.
Mr. Adams. And you don't know your password.
So I've got my roster here with IXL. I know this only kind of fits with the math people, but those are on my classes, and we did. IXL did put them in for us. We had to get all the information, and we had it all typed in a document, and they just turned it right back out and put it in this. So it really didn't help us. We could probably put it in our own, but it did save us some time. So then I can separate them by class, and then so right now they're supposed to be working on Algebra 1 S8. So let's go see if they can done. So you can see there's a little bar graph off to the side, and so I can go
So
and look
this
at
is your
reports.
textbook.
I don't have a textbook,
But
what we did this summer was we took the New York Engage Common Core, we went through every lesson, we assigned IXLs with it. And so I'm going through the Common Core curriculum, their lessons and their questions and stuff like that. And then I'm supplementing with the rote practice that is lacking from the New York Engage, and I'm doing that with the IXL. So I get the deeper level questions from the Common Core, but I get the rote practice of let's do substitution method over and over and over again with IXL.
and what are you using for the deeper?
The New York Engage, the Common Core curriculum from New York.
You have to pay for that too?
No, that's online. It's completely free.
Oh.
You can print it.
Did you get that?
It's free. About 5 big binders about that thick. So
But it's online?
it's online. I can give you a link too.
Big batch of papers I wrote for that meeting the other day.
Yeah, I know, but we haven't assimilated.
So this is kind of like another Canvas. It's just for math.
This is my homework. You know, and there's 30 problems you got to do at the end of each section.
So it's like my
That you got.
workbooks.
It's your workbooks. Yeah.
But it's online.
But what's nice is your questions are different from my questions, are different from Tabitha's, are different from
So
his.
there's no
So
cheating.
even though we're
With
doing the
other
same thing, I'm not doing the same problem. I might get it. Well, that's very unlikely because there's so many problems. But
It grades it for
and
you.
it grades it for you.
And
So
doesn't it give you hints?
this
the
one
other
doesn't give
program?
hints. That's Khan Academy. So this one, U8, you
Something
can see
else.
the pie chart up here. It tells you where your class is located. So it says green is mastered,
Looks like
yellow
you're
is
doing
excellent.
this when you go back.
This is today. Yeah, I mean this is today. So I understand that. But
Yeah.
I mean this is what they worked on today. But
And so the white ones mean they haven't even
white one
attempted it?
white is not practice, gray is provisional, red is needs improvement, gold is
That's some
satisfactory,
excellent.
and
Satisfactory.
So
and
what?
then excellent and mastered. And so what we have said was that if you can get up to an 80, which I believe they say is good, I believe it's a good, you have enough information that you're okay with that topic that's tolerable in our opinion. I don't use that word, but
So you
it's
kind
okay.
of do it for mastery type.
But we can do it for mastery if we want. And we're probably going to up that level to an 85 or a 90 either at semester or next year. But it's hard to get every single one up to 100. I have one student who that's all she does is she will get it up to 100 every single time. But what we do is, so let me just show you the assignment.
I think that would be
Yeah. So like,
Susie's.
what does your classroom look like? Like on a typical, like kids, you teach them in class, and
I
then
teach
this
them,
is
I
their
do a
homework.
lecture just like I do anything else. Normally, with the New York Engage, it has some specific questions and some practice problems and some
Yeah, are they
exploratory
in
type thing. I'm sorry?
You-
No, it's not in
completely
IXL.
separate.
So you
It's
have
separate.
2 different programs they have.
Well, New York Engage is just a binder of,
So it's a
book.
printed out
Yeah.
something that you
it's a
give
printed something, yeah. And so then that's their notes that I go through. And I go through those examples. They do some small group type stuff where they ask each other, like, they do the problem and then they share it with their neighbor and some cooperative learning type stuff. And then, we'll pull them back together. All right, what did your group get? What did your group get? It's the same thing. Okay, that's probably the right answer and move on. And then at the end of it, we say, okay, here's some practice problems, just like you would do at the end of a section and
So
your
they do
worksheet.
this at home,
So they can do this anytime that they want to.
but it's what you would do.
But
for-
that's their normal homework, yeah.
And then you also do notes.
I mean, that's the New York Engage piece, that's the worksheet.
Okay.
So I'll give them a packet at the beginning of the class, and all right, here's questions, let's do, take 5 minutes, do questions 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about those answers. And then we'll move on from there. I haven't liked what we're doing with New York Engage for what we're currently doing. So I've just been saying, here's a couple practice problems with substitution, let's go do it. Because I'm here to answer your questions, because that's where they struggle. So, what am I doing? So this just gives them the system, and then they solve a substitution, and they type in their order pairs. And so let's just say tells them immediately if they got it right or wrong. It shows them what they were doing or what they should have done.
That's nice, if they'll read it.
Oh, I was close. It's -2.8. They don't typically take the time to read it, and so when they say that, like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm like, well, did you read what it said? Well, no, because they just hit enter twice, so then it moves them on to the next problem. So, you notice to the right, they get a SMART score. The SMART score is their homework score. Out of 100, when it goes to the grade book, once they say that's done, I take that SMART score and I take 10% of that, and that's what goes in their grade book. So if they get it up to an 82, which we've said is okay, that's an 8.2 or a B- on their homework, which is usually okay. That's not a big deal. They get it up to 10 out of 10, that's a perfect score. That's 100. Takes a lot of work to do. If you actually get one right at the beginning, you get a lot of points. But then as you get farther up there, it's only fewer and fewer points. So like when you get into the 90s, it's called the challenge zone, and you get 1 point per question. So you have 10 pretty difficult questions to get up to there. What we've started doing, grades were a little bit lower. We said if you start showing your work, which was a couple months ago, start showing your work for all of these, we'll give you another point on your grade in the grade book, and we'll give you an extra point for that. So a lot of times they get up to a 90, they show their work, they get 10 out of 10, which is usually still pretty good enough for them.
If they have a 10 and they show you your work, do
They
you
get
go
11.
11?
Mhm.
And then do you still do paper pencil test?
No, we do the Lincoln test. Yeah, which they have to show their work on those, otherwise they don't get the points for it. So if it's multiple choice, they get 2 points, 1 point for showing their work.
And it has to be done in class.
And it has to be
You can
done in
monitor.
class, yeah. They have to have a code to type in to go to take their test.
Can you do quizzes that way too?
Yeah, you can do any test that you want. Yeah.
So you just make your
You
quiz
just make-
smaller.
yeah. So that was IXL. We've done, that's our primary one that we do, and then I take the grade and put that into Canvas. The other one I use a lot is the Khan Academy. So along the same lines, if I don't want to make a video or if I don't have time, I can probably find a Khan Academy video. I think most all of you guys know about Khan Academy. It's free.
Totally free.
Totally free.
Well, sometimes
Totally
it's
free.
free.
No,
Well,
totally.
Yeah,
Sometimes
no,
it's free
it's
for the
totally
first
free.
5 videos or
No,
something. Yeah.
or if you
Right.
only want like base stuff.
Right. You can do practice problems on there. It's not nearly as involved, but it's different because it's not maybe the way I teach it or the way that he says to do it. But it's kind of just guy started making videos in his closet, and he sent it to his nephew or niece, and then Bill Gates found it and said, "Hey, I really like this. I'm going to fund you." So it's completely free based off the Gates Foundation. So I'll copy and paste the link on there. I'll put that as my announcement if I don't want to make the video, or if it's a review topic. Which I don't do homework there. And then Kahoot, we had seen that at New Haven.
Yeah, and then
Kahoot is quizzing. You can do informal or non-formal stuff to go through there, but that's kind of how I use Canvas. And
Is there any other like cool science things that you do with it, like labs or anything like that you?
I do Quizlet is one that I do in there. It's kind of an online flashcard. I really like it that it also has an app on the phone. So if a student doesn't have a computer but they have a smartphone, they can still study the words. I can create a word set and they can study it, or I can have them create a word set. They can add pictures to it. And that's everything I can do for free. I could pay for a teacher account and do more if I wanted. But there's games, so it makes it kind of competitive. They can time themselves and see how quickly they can match them and do things like that. And that I can embed directly into my Canvas, so they can do it all right in there. Explore Learning is a purchased product that we use that is kind of online labs, and it's controlled settings, so I don't have to worry about, well, it would have worked, and this is what you would have gotten if this didn't happen. So I do really like that, and we have a district license for that.
Is that like labs, like online lab type thing?
It's online labs. So click on where it says Gizmo. You get 5 minutes for free. But there's not a plugin. But you, like this one in particular, I can drop a watermelon and a ping pong ball, and will they hit the ground at the same time? And it measures their speed, and I can put it in a vacuum. I can, change things. And there's a handout that adds questions to it. So it'll say, pick 2 objects, drop them. What's their, their terminal velocity? And,
have you heard of the PHET or whatever? I use a lot of that.
Yeah, we do that a lot too. Canvas has a HTML coding, or the text. So I can take, the FET, for example, I can take that and I can embed it directly into a Canvas assignment. So the kids don't ever have to leave Canvas. They can just go straight, click on that assignment. The FET program is right there. They can do all that they need to do right there in it. The Quizlet, I can pop up the Quizlet words right in there. I can embed. I embedded a Google form, and then I had my students do a self-evaluation after a project we did, and I embedded that directly into Canvas, and then they could click their answers and type it in and submit it. Got their results through Google. So I do like that I can keep everything in Canvas, that I don't have to send them out to go here and go here and go here. And I'm a linear thinker, so I like that. I do this, and then I click here and do this. And so.
Can you embed your own videos in there?
So I can take a video directly in Canvas. I have that option of just clicking on upload media or create media, and it pops up the camera and I can see my face. The students can do that too. Last year I had students give me kind of an oral report over some questions. So they recorded their voice, some of them recorded their faces, and that's submitted as the assignment. So they can describe. It's always an option. So students that don't write, they can upload themselves talking through it. So it's kind of a differentiation tool as well.
I think our foreign language teacher has done that with communication practice and speaking with their foreign language.
Okay. Cool.
Anything else?
Anything else?
Any questions?
Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks
guys.
for having us.
We'll get their contacts and you guys.
I think Tabitha knows more.
I have Josh's.
You have
I did.